I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and it is that time of the year again. The World Team Carcassonne Online Championship 2026 approaching, and teams are preparing their best, organizing friendly matches to make sure that the old players are not rusty and the new players are not too inexperienced. Today, we're watching 2 matches back to back. We might even have time for 3 matches if the players play fast enough. But the main event of the day is Team Latvia against Team Brazil. 2 teams which are very dear to me. One obviously a little bit more dear than the others. You can see the lineups on the screen. The rules are very simple. It's a 5-on-5, so they're 5 parallel best-of-3 duels happening. Whichever team wins most of these best-of-3 duels, that team is going to win the match. And then our second match of the day is Colombia against Belgium. We're going to look at the lineups a little bit later. We just hope that we might have a bit of time to catch a glimpse of Spain versus Finland, which is a match which was scheduled very, very recently, so I didn't really plan for it, where we might watch the reigning Carcassonne Champions League champion Malahheim in action. Well, anyway, so for now we're focusing on these here guys. You can see the lineups of both country teams on the screen. I'm not going to read them out loud. I'm just going to point out that each team has one newer player. Robias is going to make his debut for Team Latvia, reaching a rating of 427 in just a couple of hundred games, so possibly on track to become expert. And Nihondin is a player with whom I'm not that well familiar with Brazil, so they will be for the first time on their national team, if I remember. The other players will be well known to most of our experienced viewers, but I will introduce y'all to everyone a little bit later as we speak. As usual, we're gonna have to focus on one duel for starters, and then we will be monitoring what's happening on other tables. I think by far the most interesting is Zone 222, Ilmars against Berna 1871. That's Bernardo Silveira, a well-known Brazilian top expert, because right now their ratings are very similar, with both in the early 500s. As you can see, Zone 222 has 6,500 games of experience due to fast games. Berna has only less than 1,000 games, but this is because it's a relatively new account. He had previous accounts and also played in person a lot, and probably between the two of those, Bernardo would actually be the slight favorite and slightly more experienced. Alrighty. So, Zone 222, that's Ilmars, is going to play with the green meeples, and Berna is going to play with the red, which fits him very well for a variety of reasons. And Ilmar is going to be the starting player. 6 points already for green as a result of completing this here city. And yeah, already building up that city a little bit. Berna, however, has the first monastery of the game, 4 points, controlling a second spot for the monastery, controlling Green's road. Each of the sides have 1 road. I think a slight advantage for Zone 222 just because of the points, and now even more so. That's a fantastic tile. Berna, of course, gets the first shielded tile of the game. Is now going to cash in on an 8-point city, but the 7-point monastery from Green is massive. Bernardo, with a slight imprecision here, doesn't drop a farmer, and I'm also a bit surprised because that would be very much in the Brazilian style to drop these early farmers in those open positions. And for example, you can see that Ilmars now will drop a farmer. Like, why wouldn't you? This field is so open. There are already 2 completed cities, third one's waiting to happen. I think Bernardo could have just saved himself a tempo, because he will have to fight for this field eventually. Why not start doing it earlier rather than later? Well, I say he will have to start fighting for the field, but he might want to delay that a little bit, so surely not with a tile with a city cap on it. Ooh, this is interesting. This is actually a lovely move. It is used to connect this here road of green to this here more vulnerable road of red, which is nice. This maybe is not quite the move that I would have gone. I would have probably wanted to go here and then try to create an inconvenience against this here green city, but this move also makes a lot of sense. Bernardo now trying to go for 4-point route with the first crossroads of the game. Also realized that I think the scoreboard is a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it significantly smaller. Ooh, oh, interesting how the scoreboard expands. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I did not know that. Okay. Well, isn't that interesting? It's going to be a little bit vertical for now, more so than I expected. Anyway, adjusting the scoreboard, now you should see everybody's tiles, and we're gonna carry right back on. Hi, Ian Middleton. Of course, a reminder to all of y'all who are joining to meeple the like button as soon as you can. It does wonders for the algorithm and brings me joy if you're enjoying this broadcast. Alrighty. So several more moves have been played. Bernardo catching up on the scoreboard after Ilmars finished his monastery. That's a wise move from Ilmars, by the way, not allowing the road of red to be connected to the road of green. There are now 7 crossroads that go to the square that will give green 3 points and a meeple back for this here guy without giving a red a meeple back from this road. Red now making an interesting move, but also quite an imprecise one. Yeah, so Bernardo is wanting to start a new city, and that's, of course, is wonderful. But what he should have done instead, he should have gone over here and meepled the city like this, so that this square were to be empty, because it would have been a nicely protected square, right? Because there are still 4 tiles that fit into it. There are 2 of these triangles and 2 of the splitter tiles like this. But now that he started the city like this, it's now become more vulnerable for green to place thorns into it, which also makes it impossible for red to continue the city like that, which is what red wanted to do in the first place, right? Yeah, so not a lot, but a few tactical imprecisions from the player with the red meeples, and green is playing this well so far. Green is still very comfortably ahead, and look at this green farm rate. It's just unopposed. It's controlling these 3 wonderful cities and an endless number of green squares in all areas. And even though Bernardo will eventually get some meeples back from these monasteries, for example, eventually he will have meeples to fight for the field, but he doesn't currently have platforms to fight for this field. So this field is protected geometrically, which brings me back to this move. That's why, as red, you should have dropped this farmer over here. Now it's going to be a bit hard to fight for the field. Bernardo might want to try and win this game without any field fights, because I see that this move, of course, is quite annoying. Sorry, why did I say this? Oh, no. I was going to say that these monasteries here look quite wonderful for red, and Bernardo also gets some city points. But the problem with those city points is that look at all these city caps still lying around in what is still green's field. And green now makes sure that he's going to have the meeple advantage for a long time. Look at this. There are only 2 tiles that fit into this square. So these monasteries are very close to being trapped. This, of course, would mean entrapping his own city, but what does he care if he has 3 meeples and Berna has only 1? He can sacrifice a piece of city. Then also exposing a vulnerability in this here square, trying to maybe block another of red's monasteries. Red also notes, red needs city plus road tiles in 4 places. Now, Ilmars, I think, got carried away a little bit too much, wasting a city cap on blocking. Bernardo, of course, will be absolutely thrilled to have drawn the one and only tile that fit into the square. So 1 in 36 chance of this happening. Yeah, so there was only one of this horse tiles, as Brazilians call them, available. So yeah, it was actually a good move from Ilmars, because it severely reduced the tiles that fit here. It's just so happened that Bernardo got the 3% chance to draw the right tile immediately. Starting a new city now. Ilmar's probably looking to make some blocking. I like this idea, actually. I like this move a lot. It might seem as if he is wasting the city cap, which I guess he sort of is, but then to have this quadruple restriction, like, again, city plus road tiles, quintuple restriction, actually, or sextuple restriction. Red needs city plus road tiles for 6 of his meeples in 5 different locations. And he just so happens to draw a city plus road tile very quickly, which isn't on its own insane luck, but it is quite fortunate to have drawn this tile so quickly, because now that Bernardo has meeples again, he will be able to use his one and only meeple for scoring. So Ilmar sees that red has meeples now, and so he drops a second farmer to support his first farmer. I fully endorse this decision. You know, the field becomes already so big. What it has 5 completed cities on it, and then 2 more at least waiting to happen. Yeah, that is certainly a wonderful field in many ways, and green absolutely needs to support this since green has the meeples. What else was I going to say? I will be a bit slow on words at the start of the stream. I haven't done this for a couple of weeks after the Champions League, so forgive me that it's going to take me a little bit of time. Hi, Nico. All right, so the gist is still pretty much the same. Look, Ilmars is trying to methodically restrict and delay the recovery of Berna's meeples. Again, he's still making sure that the remaining meeples do still need city plus road tiles. Now, this meeple is never going to be recovered because green is actually already controlling another part of the city, so those 2 will eventually cancel out. There's 1 tile that goes into this square, and honestly, this is the tile that could actually decide the outcome of the entire game. Yeah, look at this. Look how methodical Zone 222 is. Even wasting, well, not wasting, but spending a lot of valuable city caps. Again, he could have gone for 4 points over here, but he went for this restriction, and Bernardo just picks up the empty 8-point city. Now, a Zone will get a few points compensation because it is his field. Also going to pick up the empty road with 5 crossroads remaining, so it's a road which is quite easy to finish. But yeah, Bernardo is quite far ahead on the scoreboard, which means that he might not even have to... He might not even have to fight for the field, honestly. So he's 19 points ahead. He can still potentially recover all of these meeples, especially this one. This meeple over here is not that strongly restricted. So ideally what you want to do is Zone 222 is you want to draw something like this. Draw one of these guys. And then get the 3 points for this road and fill in the square with a rose tile. And then make sure that there's nothing left that fits into the square. So the way this works, I just want to try and point that out to you, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Doritos with a road like this, plus all the 3 triple cities have gone out. So there's no city plus road configuration tile available that would satisfy this criterion. There is, however, this rose tile, right? So Bernardo can still draw this to recover first. But if Zone 222 draws it first, if green draws it first, then he's going to place it over here. And then block the square. So it's a double impact situation. Okay, so Bernardo now gets the tile. Now he needs to realize, and he has all the time in the world to think, because we're playing, again, a 15-minute time format, right? And he still has 10 minutes to think about it. So a tempting move is just to go over here, finish the road, and maybe even drop a city cap at his field. But I think he should not have done that. I think he should have gone over here, because we cannot allow Bernardo to have so many opportunities to recover the meeple here. I think it's definitely a mistake. It's definitely a mistake. I guess maybe Ilmars thinks that he just has to hope that red doesn't draw these tiles over here, or, you know, he just wants to have a city cap in his field. Maybe it's as simple as this, but you still get 3 points, and you get 100% chance that your opponent does not get a meeple back. Okay, so he does draw both of these tiles, which I guess is pretty good for them, but it still does not change the fact that this guy can still recover itself. Because what? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 dagger tiles available. So daggers are these city caps with a road. And one of them can go over here. Another one can go over here. And a third one can go here, theoretically. So maybe, again, Ilmars figures that he's too far behind on points. Even though he's down only 15, you might think that the field more than compensates for that, which it does. We need not to forget the 16 points from those monasteries. So what green needs to do in this situation is probably drop the divider in this here field and try to create more city caps on his field. He's not at risk of losing the field because he has 2 meeples on it. Like, it's ironclad control at this stage of the game. There's no way how Bernardo's recovering a meeple and then finding enough tiles to drop 2 farmers. So if we drop this tile somewhere here, we can hope for a couple of city caps that, of course, will increase the size of the field and therefore its point value. This move also works just fine. He even decides to meeple one of the city caps, which is pretty much unnecessary. I think it's mild in precision. Yeah, sure, that works. The outcome is all the same. So let's see what Bernardo does here. This move from Bernardo was actually kind of smart. This here move, right? It's made sure that the second city cap cannot be taken advantage of, but still a 7-point sequence with no meeple investment from zone 222, getting the 4 points for the city plus the 3 point for the farm. Both players exchange quick points for a road at this moment. High played, Mac. Okay, so dagger tile for zone, which is great. Absolutely great for the Latvian, because this is one of the tiles that fit into this square, which Bernardo just cannot seem to get. Yeah, and of course he's going to just score some quick points. And honestly, coming in closer. So I think Bernardo now will need to consider placing his last meeple right now, because look at this here part of the board. There is a 6-point field here, which is the most valuable feature on the board. And even though it is Bernardo last meeple, there isn't really anything else more valuable that he's going to need the meeple for. I guess there's still 1 crossroads remaining, the quadruple crossroads, for which he could score road points, but those would be only 2 points. I think what we have to do here as red is we have to go here and we drop a farmer, because if we don't, then green is going to go here with pretty much any tile and drop a farmer. Yeah, the game has really evened out as a result of these quick points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cities on the main field. So 24 points in zone 222's possession. And look how important it was. Another dagger for zone. So this here meeple is not going to see the lights of day. And quick points for Ilmars here. Okay, so now 2 more tiles to play. Ilmars doesn't really have too many options. He could go for 3 points over here. But I think a stronger move is to actually go over here and go for 2 points. And you know why? Because with this here move, Bernardo is threatening something in particular. He's threatening to get the last dagger tile, the last city cap with the road, and go over here. and finish his own city for 8 points and get a meeple back. Yeah, exactly. And so had zone 222 gone over here and meepled this road preemptively, he would have gotten... Yeah, look at that. Look at how unfortunate it is. I was going to say he would have gotten not 3 but 5 points, right? Because his meeple would have been already here. So unfortunately, Ilmar's here missing out on 2 points. And the game is close enough that these points could be decisive, actually. Probably not, because I think Bernardo is just winning this no matter what. I mean, Bernardo has a 9-point field. Bernardo has 16 points in the monastery. That's 25. Ilmar's field is only worth 24. Okay, this little guy is worth 3, so that's 27. But 10 points on the scoreboard. There isn't really anything that compensates 10 points on the scoreboard. And also, Ilmar's got a pretty crummy tile on his last move, this guy, with which he can only score 2 points. So let's see what the score difference is. I kind of felt that Green played this one overall really well. There was just a lot of issues to deal with. You know, these 3 monasteries were threatening, and Red was pulling quite a lot of those city plus road tiles. So you might argue at some point that, well, maybe Zone 222 should not have gone that hard on blocking. Maybe at some point he should have taken the risk and just allowed his opponent to finish some cities just so that Zone could have finished some more cities of his own. Yeah, we can see a 7-point difference, which also means that Green was actually relatively close to winning. It's this dagger that was decisive. If Berne does not get this dagger, then there is nothing that Berne can do, right? Because this dagger turned a 5-point city into an 8-point city, sorry, a 3-point city into an 8-point city, that's +5, and also gave him 3 extra points for this here farmer because the city is in this field. So that was an 8-point tile. Berne won this game by 7 points. So, in fact, at some point closer to the very end, the chances of Bernardo winning were only 1 in 3, and he did pull the tile. All right, so Bernardo won. Ilmar's 0. And wow, what an interesting decision here. I am very, very surprised to see this move strategically. It's very anti-Brazilian of what Bernardo is doing. And maybe that is a special prep. Maybe this is a change of style, and certainly not a bad move. So let me explain in a second. So Bernardo is the starting player. Both players took quick points over here. And then a very natural, logical move with the splitter for the player with the red meeples was to go over here and either start in your city or simply drop a farm. But Red decided to go over here at the bottom to make sure that all the cities over here are in different parts of the board, so that there's never a big field to fight for, but there's a bunch of small fields. Maybe he has studied Ilmar's. Maybe he knows that unlike the majority of Latvian players, Ilmar's actually is pretty good and does successfully fight for big fields. That is very much his playing style. And possibly Bernardo is trying to make that not possible. But yeah, the standard move is definitely to go for the farmer there. Also because Red has the starting player advantage, and if you are the starting player, you're kind of more likely to win field fights than your opponent, just because you get slightly better probabilities throughout the game. Anyway, so we do see a farm here from Ilmar's, maybe as Bernardo has predicted. It's a good farmer for 6 points, but it is... I don't know, it is quite restricted, right? I guess it's going to get a 3rd city over here, and 3 cities is typically the minimum to justify a farmer. But his potential beyond 3 cities is somewhat questionable. All right, so Bernardo's really going high on the scoring routes. Look, picking up the empty road end over here, eh? And the only reason this road end appeared is because Zone 222 sacrificed 2 points for the attempt to block this here monastery, right? All right, look at that. Very, very interesting. So a starting tile has been drawn. 2 starting tiles back to back. Bernardo starts a new city. And also continues his monastery. And now Zone 222 draws one of his dagger tiles. And I think now a tactical mistake here from Bernardo. This is just not how you're supposed to play this. So instead of this move, I see how he's trying to build up his city. And he's, I was going to say he's successful, but of course he needs to invade the city of Ilmars. And Ilmars gets a splitter tile, the one and only. Both players just having like fantastic draws. Everybody is drawing the perfect tile that they need. Ilmars is ahead, a boatload of points. Again, the one and only splitter in the deck that prevents this attack. Also expands the field. It was, what, a 14-point city is just beautiful. Green is just doing amazingly well in this game. Bernardo now probably has to go here and drop a farmer, starting for the field fight. He did not want a field fight, but he's going to have a field fight. Yeah, very lovely orientation here. Again, Ilmar's taking the 3 points over here. I think he should have taken these 4 points over here, because Bernardo might take them now. I guess not. I guess he has to go over here now, has to protect his city. Because there are no starting tiles over here. Because there are no starting tiles over here, this city could have been easily blocked. Now again, the threat of blocking the city has been renewed. There are not that many tiles that fit here to begin with. Bernardo now building up this lovely city at the bottom, actually. It can be deceptively threatening. There are plenty of tiles combination that go over here and finish it for upward of 14 or 16 points. So something that green will need to watch out for. Currently, this here field is likely to be equal, as there are plenty of straight lines that fit into the square and tiles like this. So Ilmars is trying to shift, trying to attack this city over here. Berna is collecting points, not in a rush to unite the field, simply goes for the move that scores the most. Alright, so Zone restricts this square a little bit more. Bernardo now, I think, needs to find a difficult move. No, it's not that move. Yeah, sure, that move is alright, but it's not the most ambitious. And this goes back to this here configuration. When there are no starting tiles remaining, it's actually quite dangerous to have a monastery meeple and a city meeple next to each other, because there's some configurations where both of them get blocked towards this square. Like if the square is restricted toward the starting tile, a tile like this, and then both of the meeples wind up dead. This is not what we're seeing, because Bern is making this cautious defensive move and he's going to get a meeple back. But he had a chance to be defensive and aggressive in scoring at the same time. With this starting tile, he could have actually gone over here and tried to pre-build this city indirectly and also set himself up for another monastery over here for 6 points. I think something that Bernardo really missed, and that was a legit chance for him to come back in the game. Also note that Ilmars is now trying to block, actually, and he's successful because he blocks this city from the side and then also drew the one and only last tile that fit into the square, so there's nothing that's left to fit here. Bernardo, however, does finish a city for 8 points. That's at least something. Also probably going to get this road to himself at some point. Well, surely Ilmars is not going to meeple this, because that would be a little bit crazy. Right, that is crazy. I have no idea why you would meeple a 0-point field. I guess he anticipates maybe red going over here. And suddenly this would expand the 0-point field into a 3-point field. But still, it's only 3 points. Like, why would you do this? Again, Ilmars just taking his city back, not bothering to attack over here, which surprises me quite a lot. And Bernardo covers up. trying to finish up his city, but with that he's also restricting his city quite severely. Yeah, he should not have done that, I think. There's only one tile. There's only one tile that fits into the square as a city cap, and that one tile is the one remaining rose tile. Oh, okay, never mind me. That was actually a pretty good move. Yeah, I am embarrassed for not seeing this idea that there were 2 road monasteries remaining in the deck, and what this guy was threatening was exactly this. It's his invasion into a farm. It's not just the completion of the road, because this farmer goes way over here around the road monastery, and even if he were to not have been successful, then it's enough of an insurance field with this here farmer. Then maybe if red goes over here eventually and completes this road, then this city will be in the farm. Yeah, this move is indeed a bit insane. Again, this is simply green miscounting tiles. I'm a bit disappointed about green's move over here. It's burning a meeple is fine because he has just so many of them over close to the end of the game, but it was completely pointless trying to block the square simply because the square was already blocked. Bernardo now gets the only type of tile that allows him to get a meeple back without accidentally expanding the field of green, because obviously this here city now is not part of the field. The crossroads is preventing that connection. But green is still ahead 24 points, has a meeple extra, has the majority on the farm. Well, this square is yet to be filled, so all the farmers, these 2 farmers, have not yet been united. So technically there's equality between these 2 guys, and there's a third one here for 9 points waiting to happen. Still the majority though, and it means that Bernardo was quite unlikely to win this game unless he gets this here tile very soon. You know what? That's actually possible. There's still one city cap that goes here. This city would be worth 18 points. He would then drop a farmer for 6. That is exactly 24, and 24 is the difference on the scoreboard. Then, you know, you could get a tile here, or you could do something like this, which is actually very smart. So Bernardo gets himself a tile here, a farmer for 6 points. Ilmars was going to try and start a city. That gets immediately denied. Yeah, and Bernardo looks like he's going to get a meeple back from the monastery. I think Ilmars is playing this not cautiously enough. I mean, he might still be able to finish the monastery himself, for example. Yeah, like this. So he starts a new city. Basically, he's kissing this meeple goodbye. And his idea now will be to get either a road monastery over here, which will be huge, or at least a curve to get this meeple back and have a bit of something extra for scoring. Yeah, you know what? Red is actually not doing all that bad. Red can absolutely do something here. Maybe red gets a curve and drops a farmer over here, and then gets the rose tile to finish the city, and then picks up a 5-point road or something. There's a lot of things that he can do. He can also get the road monastery here for 7 points. He could even potentially complete it for 9. Yeah, that's a good move from Bernardo, just getting a meeple back. And basically Bernardo is betting his entire game on this here tile. If I am green, what I want to do first is not really bother about trying to block the city. I think instead of doing this, I just want to withstand that. That's a nice move from Bernardo, trying to score a little bit. Oh, this is an amazing tile for Bernardo. He gets to finish his monastery and also protect his city. I think we have to do that. He could also go here and protect it directly, but I think I think what we're really going to do, I think we're going to go here, maybe just meeple this 4-point road. I think we really want to score real bad, and we just hope that our opponent does not get the tile to block the square. There's still one curve remaining, for example. Yeah, I like this move from Bernardo. And also meepling the road, he needs to maximize his points and just hope that zone 222 does not get the tile that fits into the square, but he gets another one that gets him to finish one more city and starts an even new road. And Bernardo gets one of the worst tiles possible. This is pretty much the least useful tile the Brazilian could have hoped for. There's just no useful move that I can imagine. With the exception of maybe going, something like this. Just discarding it. Ilmar finishes a monastery, starts a new one. And again, Bernardo just did not have a move. Bernardo just does not have a move. Still one tile to fit into the square. I'm not sure what the last tile is. Yeah, it's not a straight line, so nothing goes over here anymore. We're going to find out what the last tile is in just a second. So here's the block. Oh, it says a city cap, which allows zone 222 to finish a city and drop another farmer. And finally, Bernardo gets to finish his big city and even score 6 more points for this here farm and 3 points for this here farm. So it's a big move with a lot of impact. Just unfortunately, there's not enough time for him to benefit at all. And yeah, there's not enough time to use his newly recovered Neepal, and we can see how those extra points from Green's monasteries and other incompleted features, such as the 7-point city, for example. 7 points, that's also something. It all adds up to a comfortable victory with what? How many points? Let's just see. 10 points. Yeah. All right, so we've witnessed so far both two very open games, very open positions, lots of scoring, not that many blocking attempts, maybe many blocking attempts from the Latvian, very few blocking attempts from Bernardo, maybe. This is something for him to think about in the next game. Well, anyway. So Bernardo won, Ilmars won, and now it's all about that decider. It will be started very soon, in just a couple of minutes. Not in a couple of minutes, but maybe before that. Okay, so in the meantime, Brazil have already won a match point. Fausto Barral on table 5 has defeated Aphrodite 3-3-3 on table 5. That was probably the predictable outcome, since it was a pairing of the least experienced out of the 5 Latvian players with probably the hottest out of the 5 Brazilian players. Fausto Barral is a master with a peak rating of over 700 and generally in very good shape. They've placed first in multiple national tournaments online recently, in their internal qualification tournaments and some more casual tournaments. They really spent a lot of time practicing. They even have their own board game YouTube channel in Portuguese. All right, so why are these guys not playing? Oh no, they are playing. They are playing. Okay, I misread this. So sorry, we're missing the start a little bit. So Bernardo, the starting player, again already has just an excellent position over here. Even though Ilmars has completed 3 features worth of 10 points, the fact that Bernardo has these monasteries and this wonderful city project and another city project over here puts Red at an advantage. Make no mistake, red absolutely has a better position than green here, not a worse one. Yeah, so this city is threatening. Interesting move from zone 2 to 2. Actually, yeah, it works just fine. I think a bit imprecise. I think it's better to start a new city over here. The idea, of course, from green is to try and block the square a little bit. It works maybe around 10% of the time, and even if it does, you will be blocking green's monastery together with red's. I think green here, instead of making a move like this, should have considered one of the two options. Either just take the 3 points for the road, even though it helps your opponent's monastery, or go for a move like this, trying to start restricting the square and also start to create a blocking platform against this here square. All right, so from Bernardo's perspective, he sees the threats of the square getting blocked, and he should ignore this threat, as he correctly does. Oh, but I guess blocking was not the only option. Instead, Ilmars invades the city, which I guess also works because it would share the city points and it will also complete his monastery. Bernardo can now pick off this empty city cap. Yeah, this poor green meeple is pretty much trapped. There's only one tile that fits here, and it's really unlikely to recover that. So Ilmar's probably going to be dropping a farmer here. I think it's a bit premature. I think what he should have done is actually gone over here and tried to squeeze in some extra value off this soon-to-be blocked city. But he decides to pre-finish his monastery a little bit earlier. Not that there was any urgency about that, if you ask me. So Ilmars is now trying to create an attacking platform against this here city square. Does not get a suitable tile to do that. Gets a road, though. Honestly, the position of green is, at the moment, pretty bad if you just consider all the threats. And mainly this here bit is, of course, very, very problematic. The monastery is going to get completed. This is something we're trying to block our opponent's city, trying to stay close on the meeple count. Eventually, this square will be filled. That will be certainly very nice for zone 2-2. And look, actually, I'm not sure about that move, though. I wonder if we could have tried just going over here and maybe saved our city. I think that was possible, but then his idea, of course, he wants to create an inconvenience against the square as soon as possible. And what is Bernardo doing? I do not like that move at all. Why would he not save his city? That is not a very good decision. Poor Bernardo. This move doesn't really do much. This move just eliminates this monastery, but Bernardo could have gone over here and created a very, very real threat of completing this here city with one of the 3 remaining triple city plus road tiles. He can still do it right now. He can still just go over here and save the square towards a 88% probability of completing it, right? We just cover up. And then what? And then we probably win the game because, again, it's an 88% chance to complete the city. Even if we don't complete the city, it's already scoring 8 points. But the fact that Red is thinking about this makes me wonder if he's just simply not seeing this idea. No, of course, he is seeing this idea. And the Latvian is now going to suffer really hard. So we do start by catching up on the scoreboard a little bit, and that's something. We also successfully restrict the Brazilian cities. So now multiple cities need city plus road tiles. This move, actually, from Bernardo is absolutely wonderful. It is a seemingly useless straight line, and it is quite useless, right? But being able to find some value to make sure that we restrict the square, which could be used to restrict the square of our opponent's monastery. This is one way to find some value from this straight line. Bernardo gets a wonderful tile, 2 wonderful tiles actually. This is just something else. Will he drop a farmer over here? Probably not. I don't think he needs to do it just yet. I think we just finished the city here. For 4 points, we get a meeple back. It's tempting to drop a 6-point farmer here, but it doesn't really do all that much at this stage of the game. Not a mistake necessarily, but I think it's a bit more of a flexible approach to just keep the meeples as they are. Yeah, very disciplined here from the Brazilian. Again, is ahead on the scoreboard. Ooh. Zone is now trying to build up cities a little bit. Bernardo now should meeple the 7-point monastery. Like, it is blockable in one move, but if you do a quick and careful tile count, if you think about this deeper, yeah, you realize that losing one meeple for 8 points is actually not all that bad. For a variety of reasons, it's a very good meeple, move to meeple this monastery. So first of all, there are not that many tiles to block this in the first place. If green goes here, there's still going to be one road monastery that remains to fit here, which means a 50% chance to recover. But then even if a city tile will go over here, and this meeple were to get blocked, then this would also create an inconvenience for those guys as well. And if Bernardo wants a meeple back, he can just actually just go here, which I think is what he should do and save this. Or he can ignore this and just go here for 3 points. Honestly, both moves are legit, and the more I think about this, the more I actually prefer the 3 points, just for the sake of scoring. You could also conceivably go here for 2 points, with the idea of restricting green's fields a little bit better. Green with not a particularly useful tile. Bernardo probably could just go over here and meeple the city, perhaps. It's only 6 points, but it's a lot of city tiles. Oh, that's a great move, actually. That's a great move. And, you know, because it creates inconveniences for this here city. And zone 222, because Bernardo drew 3 tube tiles, which is honestly quite annoying from the Latvian side, he is forced to finish these cities with a splitter. Okay, but look at this. We also get a city cap. We're now ahead on the scoreboard. Now we get to drop a farmer over here. And if Berna goes over here, then maybe we get to finish this city and we get to penetrate what has now become the main field here for 12 points and 4 completed cities. This here field is some wonderful 12 points for green. If green gets the road wow. I was going to say if green gets the road monastery, that could work wonders for the farmers. But look at this. Look at how timely this move from Bernardo is, because now green can't really go over here, because obviously that would just lose him his points. I mean, that would be pretty bad. Yeah, so this 6-point field actually has quite a lot of value at this stage of the game. There are only 16 tiles remaining. Both sides have a lot of meeples, really. Neither side has truly experienced a meeple shortage. And I don't even know what zone 222 can do. I mean, surely we don't want to go here and just give our opponent a meeple back for free. Maybe we do want to do that. Maybe it's not that bad. It will be actually pretty much a 9-point move or something. Yeah, because if we go here, maybe red goes here, gets a meeple back, then we get one more tile and get a meeple back. We need to score. I think I like the idea of going, or this! It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Trying to score for a road instead, but I wonder if it was maybe more precise to go over here. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Okay. So Bernardo is just building up. Yeah, and that's the issue with Zone's road, because what Zone wants to do, I think he wants to use a triple city for finishing his road, because the most realistic chance for green to win this game is that 10% chance of drawing all 3 triple city tiles in succession. There have been so many things happening on the board that kind of the elephant in the room, or the lip-shaped city in the room, the horse in the room rather, the horse tile, is still waiting to happen. A reminder to you all again to meeple the like button if you enjoy anything about this broadcast. That would help the algorithm a lot. So what can Bernardo do? Honestly, just going over here and getting a meeple back sounds sound. On the other hand, if we do get a meeple back, then sometimes green goes here. And then penetrates the main field with this farmer. How often does it happen, though? Actually, it happens never. Yeah. There are no city caps that fit into this square, so no splitters, no vanillas, no daggers. There are barely any city caps remaining. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, so now this is kind of blocked. Well, surely now Mr. Zone's going to go here. By the way, also Zone drew at least one of the tiles that go over here, so now there's a better chance of trying to outdraw Bernardo. I mean, surely we go here for 4 points, right? Which also results into the blockage of this city. I think it's I was going to say it's a fair move, but it does not matter. Bernardo completes his wonderful city setup and drops a 6-point farmer for good measure. Well, again, a 4-point route move for zone is available, but I just don't see what you can do here. There's really not all that much that you can do. If you're Ilmars. Not sure if something could have been done in this game. I think something could have been done in this game. Really, this move ended up losing him a meeple. And just maybe generally playing a little bit too fast. There were probably some other ideas that he could have capitalized on. Maybe going over here a little bit earlier. Yeah, you know what, with that curve. Because had he gone over here with that curve, he would have delayed the monastery and he would have created an attacking square against this here city. And this city would actually never been completed. Sometimes small decisions like this can have severe consequences down the line. Bernardo just getting more quick points for himself. Immuring? What's the word? Like inboxing this here meeple on what's possibly the smallest Carcassonne field in existence. Just 3 squares, or even it looks like it's less than 2 squares, though it's so tiny. But it's worth 6 points. This here field with 5 meeples is worth a boatload. It's worth 15. Yeah, and now it's just a question of technique. I mean, Bernardo can just go here for 4 roads, 4 points. He can go here also for this 4-point road, which is probably a good move because it's also makes it harder for this guy to go here and invade the field. Yeah, precisely, because I'm not even sure what green can do. I guess going over here, yeah, or going over here. You know, we try to attack the farm. We hope that your opponent doesn't block you, but he will. Also, I miscounted a little bit. I forgot about this here splitter tile, which means that there was actually always a threat of this here meeple coming back to green's hand. But when I said splitter, but had this happened, this extra city cap, like which one I'm drawing, would still act as a shield between this here little farmer and this here big farmer anyway. So when I said there were no splitters, I actually meant these sausage splitters, because if there were a sausage splitter, then it would have been possible to go right through here into the main field. Now this guy, of course, is stuck, and Bernardo would just keep scoring more points and more points and more points. Yeah. Rough situation. So Team Latvia has taken another L, at least for now. I will check out the main score, which you can see on the screen in a couple of seconds. So we know that Aphrodite 333 lost on table 5. Now Zone 222, whose screen name was not coordinated with Aphrodite is now also losing again in a decider. That was, of course, a little bit closer. Players are exchanging pleasantries. We congratulate Bernardo and express our commiserations to Ilmars, and now we're going to move on to other duels. Wait. Where can I check the score? Well, there are multiple deciders here going on, and I think I want to check out Napalm versus Felzera, one of the young talents, who is, I think, 17 or 16 or something like this at the moment. Yeah, one of the young talents of Brazil. They're now playing a decider. Let me just try and go here. Oh yeah, and the reason why the score is 0-0 on table 1, which is also an interesting table to follow between the newcomer of Latvia, Robias, and the veteran Ed Chamon, is because by mutual agreement, that duel is actually starting an hour later than the other duels. It says not standard practice at all, but also 2 consenting teams can do whatever they want. Alrighty. This actually looks like a really interesting one. And, you know, who knows, could potentially decide the match. So complete the equal. Felzera's playing red. The starting player, Napalm, who's also the captain of the team as of 2025. That is Giannis Antens. Yeah, he's playing his traditional blue. And his position is okay. I think I ever so slightly prefer red here. But blue can definitely turn this around. So what red has going for him? First of all, the starting player advantage. Second, the 6-point lead on the scoreboard. Third, the 12-point field over here is very nice. Compared to this here 6-point field of blue, which has a lot of potential, you know, especially with the city cap lying around over here, which could be converted into field points soon enough. But, you know, it's like... it's going to take some time to do something about this. What's not going great for red is this here vulnerable area. In fact, this here square is permanently blocked because all of the 3 dagger tiles have already gone out. But I'm a bit surprised about this move. This move is honestly very bad. It's exceptionally bad. I'm really surprised by Senior Felzera, who looks like he's rated 388, but I know that his actual rating is like closer to 600 if I don't remember, so probably must have played some casual games. Okay, so the reason why I really don't like this move at all is that it just completely ignores this square. The city is already dead, but the monastery is very much alive, and red is playing like he has an endless supply of meeples. And sure, 3 is a lot in the middle of the game, but those 3 meeples can... you can exhaust your supply of 3 meeples just like that if you don't pay attention. So this tile, in fact, was perfect. Red could have gone over here to, first of all, get 1 monastery point. Second, to prevent himself from blocking. And third, set up a horse tile, the one and only tile, that, well, not the one and only tile, but one of the 3 remaining horse tiles that fit into the square that would not only develop the monastery and eventually give him a meeple back, but that would also turn this blocked city into something bigger. Now, Felzera gets this here tile, which he probably wants to go over here, and again, he will have accomplished this task of saving this monastery, but he will have done so without developing his city into something further, and there's still a lot of city tiles for which he can score points. Yeah, so this is just unfortunately not a very good decision. But anyway, I'm gonna keep ranting, right? Because another idea of this move, which is tries to attack this field, you generally want to avoid using city tiles to attack your opponent's field because it sort of doesn't really do anything. Okay, so you take care of a farming platform and you go over here, but that city piece which you leave, it leaves another farming platform for Napalm Eye. Like Napalm Eye could get something like a cow tile, for example, and drop a farmer over here just like that. Instead, he's building up his monastery here, which works just fine, if you ask me. Leaving the city cap is a little bit dangerous, but what does it matter if the city cap is not going to be taken? But also, I'm going to keep ranting. This shield is something that neither player has yet to capitalize on, despite both players drawing lots of city tiles. Well, maybe now Felzera can just go here. It's a good city. You can still finish a city for like 10 or 12 points. I think it would be a good idea to go over here, but he might want to spare his meeples now. Yeah, instead he wants to try and go for some blocking opportunities. Giannis is now scoring points. Now, at this stage, I prefer Blue's position more than Red's. Red is now invading the field. Blue will do one of the many possibilities. So option one for Blue is just to go here, which I really like, and set up the completion of the monastery. But option two was to go here and drop a farmer and try to get one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 remaining curves that fit into the square. Well, anyway, great tile for Giannis as he gets 12 points, 3 for the road, 9 for the monastery, gets some meeples back, also sets up the completion of this road, is threatening to go over here. Felzera now really needs to catch up on scoring here. He wants to do this, but then he also wants to go here and disrupt the road of Blue. He wants to go here and disrupt the city of Blue. There's just so many threats to take care of that I don't know to where to even start. Maybe going over here could be a tad more precise because that would pretty much kill off the city. But then you're down minus 12. Okay, you have the 12 points for this field, but just Blue already has more stuff on the board. Yeah, this is certainly not going to cut it. Like, attacking a 9-point field is just not that good of an idea. Giannis can go here, I guess. Or no, he can do something much worse. He can even go here and try and prevent this field from being invaded. Never mind me, that would be a terrible idea because that wouldn't quite work. Yeah, I guess we just pick up the points from the city cap, or we finish this road. Honestly, it's one or the other. I think the city cap is a bit better than the road because for the road we still have a bunch of crossroads remaining. Yeah, 2 crossroads remaining in the deck. We still have a couple of Doritos with a curve for the city. Yeah, we just have so many tiles available to us. And we just ignore the fields and we score a bunch of points, and that's how we cruise to victory. Hi, Bernardo. Congratulations on your victory. Commiserations to our team. Now you need to root for Latvia to make sure that this match stays interesting. All right, some more quick point tiles for Napalm Eye, who has a bunch of options. Yeah, he could just go here for 3 points. He could also have gone here. I like this idea. It's just scoring and getting a meeple back. Okay, so finally here comes the block. But a lovely road monastery, a Romo, for Napalm Eye, which can be used to accomplish many great things. I mean, he can go here, for example, for 7 points. I think this is what he's going to settle on. He could go here for 6, trying to fight for this field, which is probably not worth it. He's 19 points ahead. He just needs to avoid doing anything royally stupid. He's also doing quite good on the clock, which honestly has been pretty much the main issue in Giannis's play in the 2025 National Championships playoffs in person. He actually lost one of his playoff games on time. That's how he got knocked out. I believe that was in the quarterfinals. And he has been working on his time management issues ever since. So he chooses to use the monastery as a farming tile, which I think is not quite in the spirit of the position. I think he was okay to just, you know, do the usual scoring thing, but he will be rewarded as Felzera takes 3 points next to his monastery. Blue will be able to, invade the field. So currently the top field is under Blue's control. 2 blue meeples against only 1 red. There's the second red meeple waiting to happen, now either through this side or through the other side. And I believe there's like 1 curve remaining that fits over here. Oh no, 2 curves remaining that fit over here. He ends up not even needing the curve, and this is just brutal. So Napalm Eye now has so many options with this tile. He can even drop a farmer now. Okay, so this is fine. 8 points, of course, is always fine. But also going for a farmer was even more annoying. Yeah, this is a lovely, lovely move here from Felzera. Actually, he will end up winning this field for 15 points. That's because the last tile is a curve, I believe. Napalm Eye gets just 5. 4 for this road and then a little bit from the other. And let's see how this is going to turn out. Yeah, Felzera gets the thing. But Napalm Eye had just too much stuff on the scoreboard, I believe. But you know what? It's going to get a bit uncomfortably close. Uncomfortably close. It's going to be too close for comfort. Well, too close for my comfort for sure. Yeah, only an 8 points difference. Wait, what? Oh, I can't add. What just happened? How did that happen? How did that? Yeah. Well, this is interesting. Unfortunately, Blue appeared to have blown this game, and I might have just underappreciated how much chances Red still had. But going back to moves like this, like if Giannis were to just ignore the field and just go here for 7 points and just allow Felzera to do whatever, I mean, he would have been just fine, right? He would have just scored some quick points with this sort of stuff. He would have, you know, taken a small field here and there, 3 points for the road, a small city or something. Then he ended up fighting for a field, ended up making the field bigger, and then ended up losing it and not even capitalizing on the monastery versus scoring tile. So yeah, of course it required a fortunate run out of events for the play with the red meeples here. But but still. And Blue had 3 minutes still on the clock, so now they're having the opposite time management problems. Because ideally, if you're close to the end game, you really, really want to think this through. And my strategy for time management is with 4 or 5 tiles remaining, depending on if I'm the starting player or the second player. I like to calculate everything and run down my clock to 1 minute, and then the penultimate and the last move you sort of make almost automatically. I think there was a way for Blue to ensure 100% victory one way or another. Maybe even just dropping a farmer here was sufficient, which would have sacrificed points, don't get me wrong. So it would have, it would be like, let me just, even fine, after this farmer, it's whatever. But with this here move, instead of scoring 8 points, how about as blue, we just go for the farm, which scores us 3 points, so this is 5 less. But we deny our opponent the opportunity to get 15. And surely our opponent would not have gotten 15. The best that they could do with their 2 tiles, was something like 7. Yeah, check this out. It's super instructive. Okay, so these were the 2 tiles of Felzera. If not for invading the field, like, what else could he have done? He could have, gone here for 4 points. And then with the curve, gone over here. And that would score him 4 points. So he would have gotten 8 instead of 15. So that's a 7-point difference. And Napalm would have gotten 3 instead of 8. Because of the city here, right? So this means, okay, let me just write again. 15 minus 8 equals 7. Then Napalm would have gotten 3 for this here farmer. But he would have had to sacrifice 8 points for the city. So Napalm would have gotten 5 points fewer, which means that he would have been 2 points better off, and the game would have been tied something like 76 to 76. Or 78 to 78. Yes, the game would have been tied 78 to 78. And because Felzera was the starting player, the victory would be awarded to Giannis according to the rules. And again, like, it is not something that's too complicated for Giannis to calculate. He's perfectly capable of it. But for some reason, he just made the automatic move of claiming the city and assumed that it would result in an automatic win. But it didn't. There's so many opportunities. One was to just meeple the Monich and forget about the field. But if you're going to fight for the field, then you're going to fight all the way. And the Brazilian, again, proving that fields, it's just in their nature. It's just what they do. Well, anyway, with that, Brazil unfortunately already has secured the victory in this match. Brazil has won 3 duels out of 5, and I haven't even seen the results of the other ones. You probably see that on the screen already. All right. Hi, the unnamed. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Napama. Yeah, commiserations to the... Commiserations for the loss. Nihondin and Silent Monk are playing the last game already, and Robias must have already started. But you know what? It has already been an hour, and since the outcome of the game has been decided, I think what I want to do, I want to have a little look at Spain versus Finland. And then switch to Belgium against Colombia. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm glad that we watched this. So unfortunately, our team lost, but this is an important endgame lesson. Yes, sometimes it's okay to sacrifice as many as 8 points if you get to occupy an important farming platform, or just not to fight for the field in the first place. All right, so helpful lesson learned. Let me just check out... Let me just close some tabs. Okay, I need a couple of seconds to think. Edge Shamon is now playing against Robias. and already doing pretty well on the clock, on the scoreboard. Yeah, that was to be expected, of course. Edge is a very experienced player with something like over 20,000 games, possibly more than anybody else in Brazil on Board Game Arena. And Robias, playing here with the green meeples, is already experiencing a lot of trouble. It's still a very playable position, though. Like, green's situation is actually completely fine. So I'm very curious to see. We're going to move on to Spain versus Finland very, very soon. But I just want to see this one move. And I want to see if Robias is capable of finding this here move. Now, so what the situation here? He's down 12 points on the scoreboard, but he has this city project, which is looking quite well, and that could develop into something tangible. Yeah, that's not the move. That is not the move. The game has been lost. So the reason why it was so important to go over here, first of, interesting. Okay, why it was so important to go over here for either side really is because. Interesting, very interesting. It's because there were still 2 road monasteries remaining in the game, and the road monastery is about the best tile that could go here. And so had Robias gone over here, and then gotten himself a straight line, he would have set up a 9-point monastery for himself, which he even drew. Do you see that, right? So with the tiles in this game, he would have gotten himself 9 points. He would have invaded this field. He would have invaded this field that red was controlling, and he would have completely consolidated his road. Now, he's still going to get the 9 points, but it will take him 1 extra move. He could still get blocked here. Now, for example, Edge Shaman, instead of continuing his city, could just go here. And that would still block his road, and that would almost block Robias's monastery. So, something that the new Latvian player hopefully will take out of this game or this broadcast is that road monastery setups are very, very powerful when there's still 2 of those remaining. First of all, a 75% chance, and second, there are many situations where your opponent is forced to complete your setup for you just because they can't leave that spot alone. But anyway, surprisingly, this is working actually kind of okay for Robias, as he did get the 9 points. He's only 3 points behind. All of his meeples are alive, and Edge is already starts doing extravagant stuff. Like, this is way, way premature to be doing stuff like this, because there's still 4 crossroads that would pretty much destroy his game, or at least destroy the prospect of this meeple. And yeah, Robias could still conceivably win this. Okay, but we're going to be just keeping one eye on this game. I will still keep the scoreboard for Latvia. Spain versus Finland. I'm just going to let y'all look at the players' names. So, Oskaridis versus Lopinkoski is certainly an interesting encounter on table 4. Kinkelodin versus Nalaheims is a very interesting encounter. This is the 2 highest rated players. I think we should just watch this. And Temrak versus Tiuco. Temrak is going to be the favorite. Marti Sango is a new Spanish player with whom I'm not that well familiar, but is quite high rated. And Vaja 13 is the former captain who is playing against Begonia Maculato of Finland. That could also be something interesting to watch. Overall, Spain, I think, are going to be a 70% favorite in this match. Their best result is 4th place at the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships. Finland's has still to qualify for the playoffs, but of course it is a much younger team. All right, so what do we got over here? Yeah, we can see 17 tiles remaining in the first game, so rather rapid pace. Nalaheim is ahead by 16 points. He's also now invading a very dangerous city of Kinkelodian. But overall, it's an equalish position. Is it, though? No, Nalaham is just ahead too much on the scoreboard, a little bit. And there is a field, though. There is a 15-point field. Like, all these 5 completed cities in the center are part of one field. So I can certainly see either player potentially benefiting from it. All right. This is a very, very interesting move from King Collodion. Do you know what it did? I'm kind of surprised, but let me tell you. So Blue decided to sacrifice 3 points and not take this road because he was afraid of the threat of Green going over here, completing the shared city, and dropping this farmer. That's what the issue was. I'm not sure if this threat alone was worth the 3-point sacrifice. In fact, it probably wasn't, given the fact that Blue is behind on the scoreboard. But after completing this monastery, Blue is not too much down on the scoreboard. Nalaham now will probably complete the city invasion, right? Or maybe not. Hey, you see what the problem is? If Nalaham now goes over here and scores the 3 points for the road and completes the city invasion, it will still create the possibility of Blue going over here with a city cap and re-invading the city and taking it for himself. And you might say that, well, you know, if we go over here, then if Blue goes here, then maybe we might block and we might re-invade. But there are actually quite a few road tiles still remaining. For example, there are still 3 straight lines. And check this out. Okay, so we go over here. Then our opponent gets something like a vanilla city cap. They go over here, they try to invade. We get a useless straight line. The best we can do is we go over here, and our opponent still has 3 road Doritos that they can use for the city takeover. And based on the timing pattern, I think Nalaham... Oh, I thought that he was going to find the move. I thought he was actually just not going to go here. I'm a bit surprised. I think he is at risk of losing this. I think this gives King Collodion a bit too many chances. Because Otto was doing fine. He was ahead on the scoreboard. He was still technically ahead in the fields. He still had an extra monastery, an extra ruin. Like, I think this move was a little bit premature. I know it's easier said than done, but now... Yeah, exactly. Look at this. Look at this. And Green now cannot stop the invasion anymore. And like, he was thinking about it. He wanted to be patient. He wanted not to go here. But now there's a genuine chance of Green losing the game. Of course, he takes 4 points because he needs to catch up on the scoreboard. He needs to get himself a bit of a buffer. Now this guy gets the invasion. What did I tell you? And this already is like worth 16 points. And there is even a chance to complete the city, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not mistaken. There's still a couple of city caps. Nalaham will now need to devote extraordinary resources to try and chase the city. Oh, this is so instructive. I think this is one of those games which Otto might regret for a long time. Not quite. So King Collodion still... does not complete the city. But the city is completable. There's at least 1 city cap, which I see. Not there! Not there! Ah! It was... come on. I was just Blue should have gone over here for a 6-point farm, which would have, first of all, been a good 6-point farm, but then it would have made it impossible for Nalleheim to go over here with the road and complete his monastery, because then this would put the blue farmer one step away from invasion. And now if blue invades over here, and then blue invades over here, then suddenly blue takes over the possession of the entire field with 8 completed cities on it, worth 18 points. Then blue also has this ruin for like 16. Yeah, and now Nalleheim's the one to take the 6-point field. And it's just, yeah, not a good move, unfortunately, from blue. Also, this is a 0-point move. There is now no curve remaining at all. This farmer will be stuck here at 0. Of course, blue has to go over here to complete the invasion of both the road and the field. The field is currently equal. Nalleheim will finally block the completion of the city, because it would be a wise thing to do, right? If we just go over here, then there are no tiles remaining that fit into this square. I mean, surely going here for 4 points would be not a good idea. But I guess green is now counting the points. I think what green is now trying to decide, how important is it to block that city? Well, I mean, it's obviously important, but what he's trying to decide, can he still win if he blocks the city, but his opponent just scores points for other stuff? And he decides that, yes, he can. Blue now gets a curve, which is probably going to be used to block that. Actually, blue has to block that city now. There's still city caps that fit here, so I think going here makes a lot of sense. And then we also need to find a way. I would do something else nasty. Yeah, that was super important. That was super, super important. What can Nalleheim do here? I have no idea. Actually, I do have an idea. Maybe he wants to try and go here and try to prevent blue from dropping his farmer in this here area and invading this field somehow. It also depends a lot on the exact remaining tiles. I only know that there is one straight line remaining. I'm not quite sure about the other stuff. There is a triple city. And there's a Dorito, I believe. So there's a couple of city tiles, and there are some things that King Collodion could do. Like, one option is to go here, drop a farmer, then try to get a straight line for invasion. Another option is to try and somehow invade the city, which I believe is no longer possible. There is a quadruple city tile, though, not a triple city tile. Yeah, that's what the problem is. Okay, there's also a... no, never mind. I think there's a vanilla city cap. Let me just try. So one of these guys, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. At least I'm not seeing the 5th one on the board. And so I think I have a good idea of what's going on in this endgame. So King Collodion can still win. His winning opportunities are either we go here with a vanilla city cap and we try to invade this city, which would give us about 11 points for 2 moves, or we can go here with a vanilla city cap, and then Nalleheim gets a quadruple city with which he could do nothing, and then King Collodion gets the straight line, and then King Collodion gets 18 points, right? 15 points for invading the field, because, yeah, Told you. So Otto calculated exactly that scenario. He calculated what would happen if blue goes over here, drops a farmer, green gets a quadruple city tile with which he cannot do nothing, or, green gets something like this, and then King Collodion goes over here and gets 18 points. Now it's no longer possible. That, of course, is a good move. And now Otto probably going to go over here, just get 1 point. This is also a good move from blue. This is about the best that he can do, trying to set up... look at that. Look at that, right? So Otto, instead of advancing his own agenda, actually wants to prevent blue from finishing a city cap in his field, which is a move which is 2 points more precise than the alternative, basically. Actually, green calculated this very quickly. So if green makes a normal move, goes over here, then gets the quadruple city tile, green gets 3 points. But then blue goes over here and gets 7, 4 for the city, and more for the field, right? And 3 for the field. And now obviously Otto has to discard this tile, just place it anywhere. Yeah, there works in a shared feature, but that way Otto lost only 2 points from this here move. So a very, very precise endgame. Certainly Otto made his Finnish fans sweat with this move, which I believe he should not have done, because actually blue could have won over here. And honestly, blue could have won had he just not misplaced this farmer. Like, blue could have gone over here and then tried to create a serious threat of invading this here field, for which I believe he did even get the tiles. Yeah, so we can see that there's a 14-point difference, but it didn't have to be 14 points. Nalheim now experiencing a rating downswing. 698 is not a lot for him, but his peak is, of course, is 876, and he will be eventually back there somewhere. All right, yeah, so King Collodion had a bit of a chance. Just didn't quite capitalize on it, and didn't find the city cap for that big city. But at some point, this could have been completed. All right, but now it's 1930, and we're headed to our next match, which is Belgium against Colombia. So I'm going to change up my scoreboard a little bit. Just bear with me. Yeah, Brazil is 4-0. So Nihon Dan also won against Silent Monk, and Ed Chamon might actually win against Robia. So that will be a rough day for Latvia, but that's okay. Those are friendly matches. Those are for learning things. Or so I say to myself as former team captain. All right. Yeah, let me just update this in a second. Spain, Finland. Okay, so Colombia, Belgium is going to be our focus. I'll see if I can have both of those on the screen. I think it's going to be a tad much. Actually, what if I just make this a little bit smaller? Just bear with me. Nope, that does not work. But you know what you could do? Maybe Latvia, Brazil. I can just do this to Latvia, Brazil. And now we're still a little bit short, but you know what? What if we just keep it much, much smaller? Yeah, maybe like this. Maybe like this. And see if that works. Let's just experiment a little bit. I haven't really streamed 3 matches at the same time since the Carcassonne GG board live game board was created, so it's my first time using this in that capacity, so just bear with me. Anyway, so roughly an even score in Spain versus Finland right now. Actually completely even. Both sides have won 3 games. Actually, you know what, I think, yeah, we're just gonna need to check Spain, Finland a little bit after. There's not enough space to accommodate all scoreboards. I'm just going to put Colombia, Belgium here. Yeah. And anyway, we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that because, like, as soon as the match is gonna start, then it's gonna change. Okay. So Colombia, Belgium. What are the interesting? What's that about? Okay, so now we also have some issues over here because those before had ratings. But basically, what I was going to tell you is that there's some new players for both sides. Well, not so much for Belgium, who could have sticking to the same core for the most part of it. I have covered all of these players on stream at some point. The most interesting one, the most high-rated one at the moment, and the hottest one is Carcassonne 9, Van Swansine, the 2016 Belgian national champion, who will be playing against Thomas Rojas here now, one of the two players in Colombia whose peak rating is over 800. So Colombian superstar, and then in addition to their normal team, they have new players, JP Steps and Adrian L. Yeah, not sure what happened to the ratings there. Oh, there we go. The ratings are back. The ratings are back. You can see that T. Rojas is rated 648. Carcassonne Roth is rated 644. And its overall is very, very close. Let's just check out... Yeah, I closed Carcroft's page, but you can see the rating anyway, and you can see all the essential information. So, new game. And also time to... Actually, also time to move the score. Oh no, look at this. We're doing just fine. We're doing just fine. Maybe there's even... Maybe I can even leave the Spanish score. Yeah, look at this. Look at that. Okay, 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 okay. Perfect. I'm quite content. I can even make it like a little bit bigger. Look at that. You can see the score for Spain and for Belgium. Okay. Now let's truly get back in this. In just 5 minutes, these guys have played half the game, which is not what I expected at all. Belgians are generally not fast players. Colombians, it depends. But, okay, let's see what's going on here. So, Thomas is playing green, the starting player. Vannes is playing red, not the starting player, but has 8 points extra on his scoreboard. There are some blocked meeples on both sides. For example, Thomas has their city broken for 6. Then this here, red monastery is controlling this here green city. Red has a 4-point road and a 4-point city waiting to happen. Green has a surprisingly strong, deceptively strong monastery here for 6 points, which has many patterns how it can be completed. Yeah, still plenty of tiles to go over here. And now I believe green can get the advantage in this position. I just want to... Yes, and that is the exact move that I'm looking for. It's a 6-point road. It's a chance to get some extra points over here. And it's also... He's getting himself a monastery. This is just a wonderful, wonderful position for the player with the... green meeples, but I think Vannes just missed a move. Ay. With this here move, what he should have done, he should have gone over here. Because this would have permanently blocked the square. Because 1, 2, and then somewhere 3, where all of these dagger city cap tiles have gone out. So there was a way how this second monastery from green would have been prevented. And it was quite important to keep green without the meeples for a longer time. Well, anyway, Karkaroff just building up their monastery. Thomas is now getting this monastery meeple back. It's a good position for green. However, a curved tile is drawn for red, who now completes their road, is now ahead on the scoreboard yet again. But again, Thomas can just go over here, build up this here monastery, this second monastery, and even try to get a couple of crossroad tiles to build some exciting roads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 2 tiles that fit into this square. So ideally, green would need to get that curve sometime soon. This move from green, I do not quite understand. I think green might be underestimating the importance of scoring a little bit. This restriction pretty much almost never works, but let's see what happens to it. So that's a nice way to get some extra points. As I told you, red is just going to finish the city and even drop a farmer, try to take care of this 3-city 9-point counter field. Again, really no good reason for green not to have gone over here, especially since we're having a bit of a shortage of road tiles. This, of course, allows green to maybe score points over here, but then this will become a bit more blockable, and there are just some patterns how green can lose a meeple here. And green gets a curve, which is super important for meeple recovery. Karkaroff is now going to try and block this road. He's probably going to succeed. Thomas is now going to go over here. Oh yeah, or that. Scoring point is more important. Getting 3 points, getting 4 points for the city, but sacrificing 1 for Karkaroff. He has to be careful, though, because there's some scenarios how this city gets completed. I guess we're running at a shortage of city caps. Yeah, that move looks perfectly fine. It is blocking this road permanently, but it was blocked pretty much already as it was. And here's the last curve. He has also an opportunity to finish the monastery, and Thomas, for the first time in this game, but predictably so, is ahead. And first of all, 1 point on the scoreboard. Then this is a lovely 11-point road, which is the single most valuable feature on the board. You don't see that in Carcassonne very often, where the most valuable feature on the board is a road. The next best feature is this here 10-point city. The third best feature is this 9-point field, which Thomas can just, I guess, equalize by going here or maybe going over here. Thomas could also go here, perhaps, and then try, yeah, and then simply try to finish yet another monastery, and even goes for the road. That is actually quite interesting, and that is because there are plenty of crossroad tiles, still 3 crossroad tiles to get him a meeple back, and a bunch of tiles that go over here. Yeah, lovely, lovely ideas. And again, it looked like things were bad for red, but it just wasn't. It looks like things were good for red, but this wasn't just the case, because all of the setups of green were quite beautiful and lucrative. And there we go, yet another setup cached. Tiro has now thinking whether it's worth meepling the city, to which I do not know the answer, honestly. Right off the bat, it would require quite a lot of calculation figures that he is not going to meeple that city. It's kind of now for Vanness to decide whether they want to go over here and start a new city like this, or maybe they just want to go over here and start an 8-point city at the top. At least the move there seems to be more potent because it constitutes an immediate threat. There are still a few city caps remaining to make that 8-point city happen, so this is exactly the move that we're seeing. Yeah, and now Thomas is having trouble here. Chooses to start a city himself, which is actually quite wise. His idea, of course, is not just to finish the city. His idea is to finish the city and drop a farmer and then invade over here. Right? Invade over here. Okay, so this move was super important. Green prevented red from completing the city. Red can, I guess, try go over here and threaten yet another city, but a lower variance move would be going over here and either invading or blocking the green city. Let me calculate real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't quite work. Sometimes in some late endgames, there is a situation where, they can make the standard move going over here, and you think that you want to place a meeple here to invade the city, but actually because there are no triangle city tiles remaining, then this constitutes a complete block of the city, and you don't even need to spend a meeple on it. But because there's still one triangle city remaining, I don't think red can afford to just leave this empty. I think red has to go over here and meeple this, and then hope that red gets the triangle tile, and then finishes the shared city, drops a farmer, and possibly invades all the way through here. If the field were any bigger, let's say if it didn't have 2 completed cities, but like 6 completed cities, then a reasonable move for red would be to go over here and finish the city for green, just to be able to take advantage of the farming platform and drop a meeple over here and invade the field through that area. This move is very interesting to me. I do not quite fully understand this. I think it is basically a decision to gamble. He's saying, I just want to draw the last remaining city caps. However many there are. There might be actually not that many. And I think it's just one. The one and only vanilla city cap tile, and what Vannes is saying, hey, I'm a bit behind. You have all these long roads in big cities. I need to gamble a little bit to catch up, so I'm not going to invest in meeple. I'm just hoping that I'm going to get the last vanilla city cap tile to score 4 points here and add 3 points to my farm. That is certainly a reasonable decision. And the point, when you find yourself behind, you kind of have to gamble towards the end game of a Carcassonne game. But if you do that, you need to make sure that the tiles that you're gambling for are reasonable, right? That you're not hoping for the entire world, you're just hoping for one particular tile. And this is a great decision from red, I think, because the one tile that he's hoping for achieves double impact. He gets points for himself, and he denies the city completion for green. Had he been ahead, then of course the strategy should have been different, but he's not ahead. He's behind. All right, so what is Thomas thinking about? I think Thomas is trying to decide between finishing the road, and first of all, which orientation to finish the road, and just going over here for a 6-point field. I think finishing the road is more than reasonable because it just gives you a point and meeples back to score for more stuff. Red is happy to score 2 quick points with the 1 meeple that he does have. T. Rojas gets himself a 6-point monastery, which is huge. A city cap for Karkaroff, one which I was kind of forgot existed. And he uses it to get a 6-point farmer, but a city cap. The other city cap goes for Thomas, who finishes the city and even drops a farmer. There are actually no more tiles left to complete the invasion. Like, it looks like an invasion that he can go over here or here. He actually can't, but still. Yeah, so maybe this here move from Vannes was like a little bit ambitious with 3 city caps remaining. He was trying to prevent his opponent from drawing too many things. And eventually Thomas capitalized. Yeah, just so much beauty in Green's play here. Like, these players have the same rating right now, but you can really feel why they have such a big difference in their peak ratings. Like, these monastery build-ups, this long road, and then again, Red had the chance to prevent both of these monasteries from being recovered. But Red just was misprioritizing here at the top a little bit, and this is what cost him the game. You actually see that the scoreboard difference is not that great. It's less than 20 points. So if, like I'm telling you, if Green had not completed those monasteries, Green would not have the meeple for all the other stuff that gave him points. And I honestly believe that if Red were to have taken this tile and just put it over here and blocked those monasteries, then Red would have probably won the game. Anyway, so great performance from Thomas. We're definitely sticking with this duel. What's happening on in the other tables, you can see on the screen. All right, so Van Nissen is now the starting player, playing the red meeples again. T Rojas playing green. T Rojas now getting himself four points, and he was threatening to block not one but two red meeples. Red, by the way, has 6 points as a result of completing the city, and it's going to be a very open, a very volatile position. Of course, this is a move which needed to be played by Red to defend. Now this square is waiting for either party to draw a Romo, a beautiful road monastery, not like this, but this with a little tail. Astainais klosteris. Love that word. Anyway, yeah, so whoever gets the tile here is going to have a lot of advantage. This here move from Red does not make a lot of sense to me. Red should have gone over here and meeple the monastery. I think it's a miss. Normally, it's extremely rare that in the opening you don't meeple monasteries. If you ever having doubt whether to meeple monasteries or not, like if the number of the remaining tiles is 50 or more, then you should probably meeple it, because you're probably getting that meeple back. Now, this here road is very interesting from Karkaroff, so this is quite a lot of commitment toward this here city. It could be absolutely worth it. At the time of his move, there were still 4 tiles remaining that fit into the square, which translates to a 94% chance of meeple recovery. Thomas is just building roads. Now probably going to protect his monastery a little bit. And obviously, Vannes is waiting for this here setup. But this move is something I did not expect. And I think it looks like a bit of unnecessary volatility there. Yeah, I don't like this. I think as Thomas, we're probably better off just turning this tile like this, then getting a normal straight line, capitalizing on a road, and then trying to get a normal field monastery here, perhaps. Because you see, now, from Green's perspective, if we get a field monastery, then we're really, really reliant on this road monastery to get a meeple back. And also, when you create 2 sensitive squares like this, what you're really saying is that these tiles become so significant that you just kind of have to draw at least one of them to win. The chances to draw at least one of two monasteries are 75%. We'll now make it 50% because one of the monasteries has just been drawn by red to great effect, and it honestly looks like Carcassonne is going to have quite a lot of advantage in this one. Yeah, and so now Thomas really just doesn't have a lot of things that he can do in this game short of drawing this here monastery. Whereas, if you turn this tile the other way, there are conceivable scenarios from Green's perspective how you win the game despite not drawing either road monasteries. But okay, the fight goes on. Still a lot of things that Green can do, maybe fewer compared to what he could have done if this tile were a bit reversed. Also, by the way, Green somehow managed to be the first on what's going to become the main field of the game. This field is wonderful. 1, 2, 3 completed cities here. A couple extra waiting to happen. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised why Red didn't drop a farmer over here when completing his own 8-pointer. It was actually quite clear that this city would be important. Well, look at that. Will you look at that? So the second Romo goes to red, which means that this here meeple is dead. And Esteban just needs to really think hard about how he's gonna win this game. The true answer is that probably he just won't. Yeah, this of course is a nice move, scoring 3 points. Really got to catch up on the scoreboard, but now there's this red farmer, which is trying to invade all the way here. Also, red has all the meeples in the world, which he uses for aggressive scoring. You know, this road over here, this road over here, that's already 9 points. This adds up 23 points at the scoreboard. And, like, the extra meeples as well, they're going to do quite a lot. And so Thomas is playing this correctly. He's just trying to do the best that he can. With the conditions that he got. And the idea here, of course, is that he wants to get something like, ooh, this is a very interesting setup. He's planning to get a tube-shaped tile, of which there are 5 remaining, and he gets one of them. What's a beautiful pattern recognition here by Thomas. For our newer viewers, it might not look like something special, but this is a very counterintuitive city shape. And probabilities-wise, it works like to perfection in this position. Okay, so now we're talking. It's just a shame that the players are playing so fast that I don't have quite a lot of time to explain everything. So normally the way you complete these cities is you go for the so-called lip pattern with 2 triple cities in the middle and 4 triangles on the outside. But because there were still a lot of tube-shaped tiles remaining in the deck, Thomas set up this exact pattern, which from his perspective was very high prob, and he managed to capitalize on it. He's still behind on the scoreboard, but he's fighting back, trying to finish a 10-point city, restricting the Lil 4-pointer of Carcassonne. And we're starting to run quite short on city plus field city caps. So what can T. Rojas do? That is a lovely move. This move, of course, to restrict this square, which in turn protects this here city. So still a chance to get a meeple back and score some points. And the reason why cities are so important in positions like this is because if you're behind and short on meeples, then building cities is pretty much the only thing that you can realistically do, because building cities is a way to get points and also get a meeple back so that you keep scoring points. Yeah, where was I going with this? Anyway, so red has successfully connected all fields, and now red has a majority with 2 red farmers against 1 green farmer, which honestly is quite horrible for green. And red even has a 3rd farmer kind of waiting to happen to go through here, through green's city if green successfully completes it. Red and green exchange quick points, and it looks like green is coming a little bit closer, which he is, but he is going to get his city blocked or restricted, not sure. There's still 1 starting tile that remains to fit into this square. So I wonder if it's crazy from Karkaroff's perspective to just go here and meeple the monastery. Yep. Oh, or to meeple the field or whatever. Okay, but look at this. I wonder why, what's the point of meepling a 6-point field when you can have yourself, actually, no, never mind. Field is fine. It makes a lot of sense. T. Rojas, of course, gets this wonderful road and has another road, which compensates Red's road, has a monastery, has a ruin, which honestly might be just enough to offset Red's farmers. Let me see. So Red has 3 farmers, which are controlling this field, so this here guy doesn't do much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 completed cities, that's 21 points. 2 extra, that's 27 field points. I think just not quite enough for the play with the green meeples. What green needs in this position is a way to score points, just a way to score points and get a meeple back. And I think if I'm Thomas, what I'm looking at is this here city. Like, is there a way how I can just gun for the completion of this city? Maybe. Maybe, baby. Or at least I can get, I know, like a city cap over here, then a splitter tile over here so that you can score a few extra points. It's still a big ask. And Vannes, if he so chooses, can actually go over here and try to invade this long road. There's still 1 straight line available to complete such an invasion. I'm not sure if it's worth doing it. But even with 1 tile, even if you're hoping for 1 particular tile, you're kind of forcing your opponent to draw that tile to prevent your threat. And there's only so many tiles that T. Rojas can draw. So honestly, I think the move here is to go and place a meeple for 2 points. And this will just put exceptional tile drawing burden on green. Yeah, that move for 4 points is also fine. It also kind of does a similar job of creating an additional threat, except that green not only gets the tile that red would have wanted, but also gets the opportunity to score some extra. A scoring tile for red as well, a curvy tile for Thomas, and just nothing much to be done here. Oh, that's a lovely sequence. That was actually a fantastic sequence by Karkaroff because he had 2 ways. Oh yeah, never mind. There wasn't a straight line to begin with, so this idea of my invasion was actually completely wrong. But had there been a straight line, it would have worked. Yeah, very nice setup by Karkaroff, who was going to win both on the scoreboard and the fields, and Certainly some nice draws. And again, in volatile positions like this, like when you draw both road monasteries, then you're probably gonna win. Then I think from Thomas's perspective, just making the position so volatile was unnecessary. Like, he could have just turned this curve like this and then try to have gotten himself a road, and then he would have had himself an extra meeple to fight for the field perhaps, and then he wouldn't need to accept a severe defeat. He is a little bit ahead before counting the fields, but the fields are a lot. Fields are quite a lot. 17 points difference eventually. Wait. Okay. Aha. So this is pretty bad. Thank you so much, Nicola, for pointing that out. You're saying, do you have Telegram messages incoming, or am I losing my mind? Wait. Yes, I had, but I was sure that you couldn't hear them because I'm without my headphones. But just because I'm without my headphones does not mean that the headphones are on. So apparently, all the time you were hearing the sound from my headphones without even me hearing the sound. So now I turned them off. And so now I realize that probably all this time you were hearing sounds from the tiles as well, which must have been annoying. Yes, sorry about that. Anyway, now the sound effects are turned off. Now I will have to rewatch the stream and then find out what else have you been hearing. Oh, okay, it was just the Telegram messages. You know what? We can live with that. We can live with that. Well, anyway, Van Swansina, the Belgian, is the starting player yet again in their decider. Already has 8 points on the scoreboard. But Thomas has already 10. Still, it's a very good position for Red. Very good position for Red. First of all, Red is ahead on the scoreboard anyway, and Red has 2 monasteries. And a juicy spot for a third one, which is so good. Yeah, Karkaroff just gets more meeples back. Decides to meeple the city, which is also normally not a lucrative endeavor, but here it's a bit different because this city is kind of connected to all those bits, and so Red can start to fight for big ruin, which I think benefits him. This move from Red is, of course, very high risk, high reward, setting up this monastery here even harder, but risking to get himself blocked with this here pattern. If he gets himself a road tile, yeah, like this one, for example, Thomas could have blocked 2 meeples of funness. And so this forces Karkaroff to defend in a bit of an unorthodox ways. So now the monastery setup is not going to work, but there's still 4 vanilla city caps to fit this square. And this tile is fantastic. I thought it would be used to go here, but oh, this is fun. Look at the unusual Ukrainian technique from Green here. So Green is anticipating a city cap going over here and trying to preemptively meeple this city, potentially developing it to such a way that would allow him to complete said city. Isn't that interesting? This move from Vannes is also actually quite strong. Trying, to put pressure on this here square and block 2 meeples of Green, which would not only make Green lose meeples, but make it completely safe for Red to go here and recover at least one of the monasteries. Red is also ahead here, quite a lot. But Green is now trying to start a fight. for a medium-sized city over here. Yeah, really curious how Red is going to react to this. I think Red should probably continue with his regular plan, which is to go here and block these two meeples. Yep, exactly like that. There are 2 starting tiles remaining, if I'm not mistaken. And now Karkaroff just needs to avoid greed and do exactly this. Now the square is permanently blocked. And I don't even know. Like, the position is so bad for green. And it's not like green did anything wrong, right? It's not like green did anything wrong here. These were all very reasonable efforts. And look at green bouncing back, now setting up the completion of this here city for upwards of 20 points. With one of the 2 remaining Road Dorito tiles. Isn't that lovely? And this will put green ahead on the scoreboard. Karkaroff can still go here with one of the 3 remaining Vanilla City Cap tiles, which would allow him to get one of these monasteries back. Probably not the other, because this here square is quite hard to fill. There's only 1 tile that's remaining there. And look at this, and Thomas gets this tile very early, and now suddenly we're almost equal on meeples. Still, I was going to say advantage for Red, but is it really? I mean, it is. But 13 points on the scoreboard for Thomas is actually quite a lot. A very lucrative farmer here. But I think it allows an amazing setup for Karkaroff. Yeah, exactly this. And look at this. There's just so many. Just don't meeple anything. Yeah, exactly. There's just so many tiles that fit into the square so well. And green also broke his own road a little bit. Yeah, that's anyway, so much has happened. So much has happened. Like, I can barely keep up. I will check the chat in a second. So we have a lot of farmers here. Thomas has this here farmer for 4 completed cities. Vance is now fighting for the farm. Thomas is ahead on the scoreboard by completing this here city. Has this here farmer for more points. This is just points and points galore. Red has meeples galore, though, and Red still has 2 tiles that fit into the square to get one of those meeples back. I think what Red should do now is just go over here and set himself up for a 50% chance of meeple recovery and a 5-point road. I think that would be a very reasonable move. And honestly, you know what? Yeah, we go here and we drop a farmer as well. It is a 6-point field, and it has a chance to be connected over here to this here green guy. Yeah, both players are playing really strongly, and Thomas draws yet another city cap that could fit into this square. So now the position has really evened up. And honestly, I wonder if Red is even doing a little bit better, because when it comes to the meeple count, like this here green guy is a little bit suffering. So I'm really not sure if green should have done this, because the farmer is understandable, but breaking your own road should really break the heart of green and all of our Colombian fans. All right, so 1 tile that fits this square. For now, still 12-point lead on the scoreboard. Yeah, that's a good move from Thomas. Trying to develop his field over here, whilst also potentially blocking this here square. Trying to block it towards the road monastery or towards the non-existing tile combo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, wait. Isn't there like just only 1 tile that fits here anyway? Yeah, Karkaroff decides to just steer away from the field fights and start a counter field, which also surprises me a little bit. From Thomas, I'm not sure if it is better to just go here and score quick points. Yeah, exactly. Or to go here and try blocking. He figures that points are more important. Karkaroff, I think, should get a Monastery Meeple back, honestly. It's his only 1 point net. But a Meeple will be more important than just scoring for some city caps. Yeah, I like that idea. Thomas, however, gets the tile for this square, so this Monastery Meeple is permanently trapped, but still, the farmer will help. The new Meeple will help as a farmer, right? So we recovered the Meeple, we invested this, and this Meeple will be worth at least 12 when he finally succeeds in penetrating this field. So red needs a straight line to go over here and another road tile to go over here. That would equalize all the fields, which also now makes me think that maybe it's time for Thomas to forego quick points. Like, the normal move here is to go here, but maybe the field is a bit too important that we should go here instead and drop a farmer like this. Yeah, with not quite the same orientation. Okay, I would have preferred a different orientation. And the reason I would have preferred a different orientation is that, well, never mind me, it wouldn't have worked. But I would have preferred a different orientation so that we can use these here tiles to connect, so that we can use the monasteries to connect. So there's a greater variety of tiles. He gets a straight line anyway. He has a majority on this here field. Red now needs to do, I don't know even what red needs to do. Yeah, scoring is fine. Just scoring is fine. I just don't think that red can win this. So red will be losing the field for 15 points. Ah, maybe red can get city caps here and stuff. But there are not that many of those remaining. There are a couple. Which actually makes me think, like, with this here move, why didn't we just go here? But it's whatever. It's whatever. All right. Monastery discarded, or for Karkaroff, it's actually not quite discarded. It's a reasonable move. Quick points for Thomas. Karkaroff now will be scoring quick points in a variety of ways. So option one is we go here. That scores us 3 points, and that unites all the... No. Really? What am I not seeing? I think I know. Maybe there's nothing that fit into this square. And so the plan of red... Yeah, there's nothing that fits into the square. Okay, so the plan of red was to just preserve this here guy for the quick points. Let the green guy have 12 points in this here area. And then red actually has 12 points across 3 farmers in total. So red is not even losing 1 farms. And now after red connected to this here area, red is sharing points with this here green guy. So when all is said and done, red is only a little bit behind. Red has the monastery and the city for 13 points. But, of course, Thomas has the lead on the scoreboard, plus these here little bits and pieces that will make the Colombian master ultimately win this game. All right. Let's see what the score difference is. I think it should be around 10. Maybe a little bit less. Probably a little bit less. All right. Yeah, all the fields are now being scored. Again, green with a super important farmer over here made it not possible for red to win this. And yeah, 10 points is exactly the difference. Really just an amazing, amazing comeback from Thomas. Just both of his victories were absolutely wonderful. And it looked like it was a horrible situation for him. He lost 2 meeples, but then finding this city as an actual threat to come back, that's what made this game work. And then being proactive with the farmers. The first one didn't quite work out, but the second one and the third one just worked wonders. Alrighty, so let's see how the other Colombians and Belgians are doing. So what are we having at the moment? Yes. To address some of the messages in the chat. Hi, Puree Chap. Hi, Robbies. Oh, I can actually just wait. I can move the scoreboard, and I can show more of it. Oh yeah. Oh, look at this. Robias did win both games against Ed Chamon, giving Latvia its only match point. That is so awesome. And Robias is the one and only newcomer for Team Latvia against the Brazilian veteran. That is amazing. Finland won against Spain 3-2. And now Belgium is leading against Colombia 2-1. Yeah, so just to explain the score, what really matters is the big score. So 3-7. Oh, wait, the drawing doesn't quite work. So 3-7, it is how many games each team has won. But what really matters is how many duels each team has won. And currently, Colombia has won this duel between Thomas and Karkaroff. And for Belgium, Gina and N2NW have won on tables 5 and 1 respectively. So what's next? I think next for us is table 2, where the new player with the screen name, I actually can't see from here, something like Adriano is playing the Belgian vice champion with the screen name Moby Dick. And they're playing a decider, so the score in this duel is 1-1. And the score is also tied in their decider 52-52. Won't be quite enough time to make sense of this position. It seems to me at first glance that the Belgian player has it. Yeah, she has the fields and stuff. She has the monasteries. And she also has successfully blocked some farm invasions. Yeah, look, that was also quite an important move because green was trying to penetrate this field over here where red was having a majority and where red is still having a majority. And even though red drew this tile, she didn't know that she was going to draw this tile. There was a chance that maybe green was going to draw this tile. Then green could have placed this curve over here, tried to make way for the green farmer. But red made sure that this would not be possible with this here permanent block. I guess what she's going to do, she's going to go over here, take a 6-point road, and with that deliver the decisive match point for Team Belgium. The score will be 3-1 after this. Oh yeah, this 6-point road works just as well. The only difference is aesthetics. 30 points is the difference, so massive win for the more experienced Belgian player, and with that we congratulate Team Belgium on this match victory. There's still a duel going on though between JP Steps and Obi Wonder. Obi Wonder, the more experienced of the two players, they're playing the decider again. Game 1. Oh wait, what is that about? JP Steps is playing somebody else. Wait, how does that work? Oh no, they finished the decider. Oh yes, they have played 3 games and Obi Wonder won against the decider. So 4 dual victories for Team Belgium, and the final score is 4-1. And with that, I think there's no more Carcassonne left to play, so let's just refresh over here and have a look again at the results of today. So Croatia won against Australia 4-1. That was to be expected. Ukraine lost against Team Japan. I'm not sure if that was to be expected, but these two are probably the 2 strongest teams in the world right now, so it makes sense that the result was close. Brazil unfortunately defeated Team Latvia, but I'm so happy about the victory of the Latvian newcomer on table 1, and not just against anybody, against one of the highest rated players in Brazil at the moment, and possibly the single most experienced player with over 20,000 games. Finland defeated Spain with Olli Kajaani. Olli. I guess it just means like Olli from the city of Kajaani, which is quite far north. Defeated against the high-rated player Martti Sango, and the other 2 victories on tables 1 and 4 for Team Finland were perhaps more predictable, and Belgium, Colombia, well, you just saw. We were watching the one duel where Colombia was actually winning, but on tables 1, 2, 4, and 5, the experienced Belgian players took care of what was expected of them. So that's the day. As we are approaching the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships, there's going to be more of those broadcasts possibly happening. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure to subscribe for more competitive content like this so that you don't miss anything. And in any case, if you enjoyed anything about today, make sure to meeple the like button. That is important for the algorithm. So then that's going to be it. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.